Fueled by the endless creepy stories on the internet and people's encounters with him, the Slender Man has become one of the most well-known and terrifying mythical creatures out there. He is defined as a tall, thin creature that is often seen wearing a black suit and tie. He has a blank face with no features, no eyes, no nose, no mouth, no hair and no ears. He has the ability to stretch his arms to over twice its length, but can also shorten them when required, and he can use it to snatch victims from all angles. His figure has been seen lurking behind children, and it's often caught on camera by those unaware of his presence. Although there seems to be no exact location, as he's been spotted all over the world, but he is most frequent in forest and abandoned areas. It is unknown if he kills or just kidnaps them and takes them to an undisclosed location or dimension, as most victims are never seen again. It's thought that anyone who is lucky enough to escape the Slender Man will never get over the sight of him, a situation termed as the Slender Man sickness. They will be traumatized and left dealing with the psychological damage for the rest of their lives. So this is a short documentary on the infamous supernatural character Slender Man. On June 10, 2009, on a thread in the internet forum Something Awful, Eric Knudsen, under the pseudonym Victor Surge, contributed 2 black and white images of groups of children, to which he added a tall, thin, spectral figure wearing a black suit. The thread was a Photoshop contest in which users were challenged to edit everyday photographs to appear paranormal. Eric supplemented his submission with parts of text, supposedly from witnesses, describing the abduction of the groups of children and giving the character name the Slender Man. The quote under the first photograph read, "We didn't want to go, we didn't want to kill them, but its persistent silence and outstretched arms horrified and comforted us at the same time. 1983, photographer unknown, presumed dead." The quote under the second photograph read, "One of the 2 recovered photographs from the Sterling City Library blaze, notable for being taken the day which 14 children vanished and for what is referred to as the Slender Man. Deformity cited as film defects by officials. Fire at library occurred 1 week later. Actual photograph confiscated as evidence. 1986, photographer Mary Thomas, missing since June 13th, 1986. These additions effectively transformed the photographs into a work of fiction. Other forum users expanded upon the character, adding their own visual or textual contributions. Despite all this, Slenderman is nothing new. The earliest known reference to him dates back to 9000 BC, when he was featured in cave paintings in the northeast of Brazil. They show a strange elongated character leading a child by the hand. Later depictions of him were wood carvings by German woodcutter Hans Frankenberg. His carvings featured a multi-limbed character thought to be a representation of an evil fairy-type being who lived in the Black Forest that would kill any children who strayed into the forest without their parents' permission. Slenderman's reputation took a terrible turn in what was the Henderson Horse Farm incident. It took place at a farm in Polk County, North Carolina. The farm was owned and run by 41-year-old Ted Henderson, his wife Judy, and his 6-year-old daughter Tracy. On the morning of June the 15th, 1953, neighbors called local police complaining of hearing screams and sounds of gunfire coming from the property. A sheriff and 2 deputies arrived at the farm at 8:34 and found that horses in the barn had been torn apart. They entered the home and could see fresh blood on some of the room's floors. They continued searching the house and found Ted Henderson in the bedroom, barricaded behind furniture. Next to him was the body of his wife, killed by a single gunshot blast of the chest. One of the deputies said Ted didn't seem to realize they were in the room and ignored all questions. He was quickly charged with the murder, but due to his zombie-like state, he was admitted to Jenkins Mental Hospital in Sandy Plains. Ted remained in a state of shock for over 3 years. When on the 3rd anniversary of the murder, he said, "Skinny fella suit looking at me." Ted said this suited man had taken his wife and child and claimed that Judy begged him to shoot her. He felt that he had saved her by doing so, but was unable to stop the man from taking his daughter. Just a few hours after this interview, Ted committed suicide and was found dead in his room. The body of his daughter Tracy Henderson was never found, but this photograph was taken about a week before the incident and shows what appears to be a suited man standing in front of the stables, which some claim is the infamous Slender Man. Another incident which shook the world was the Slender Man stabbing incident, in which two 12-year-old girls, Anissa Weir and Morgan Geyser, lured 12-year-old Peyton Lutner into the woods and stabbed her 19 times and left her for dead in an attempt to impress Slender Man. After being stabbed, Peyton crawled to a road and lay on a sidewalk where a cyclist found her and called 911. She was rushed to a hospital, at which point, according to a criminal complaint, she was just 1 millimeter away from certain death. The victim recovered after being hospitalized for 6 days. During the resultant legal proceedings, both the attackers were ultimately found not guilty by reason of insanity. Anissa Weir was committed to 25 years in a state mental institute, while Morgan Geyser was sentenced to 40 years in a mental institution. Slenderman's fictional mythology has evolved without any official reference. His appearance, motives, habits and abilities are not fixed, but changes depending on the storyteller. The web series Marble Hornets established the Slenderman symbol, which became a common trope of Slenderman fiction. And now this symbol is unofficially the official symbol of this supernatural character. So after all the non-fictional evidences and fictional stories, there's one question still at the heart of the debate. Is Slenderman real? So if you liked this video, please hit that like button and don't forget to hit that bell icon after subscribing. Thanks for watching and I will see you on the internet.